heck is it? Those camel herders stirred me in the wrong direction. Excuse me, sir.
Yes?
Can you tell me where I am?
Looks like you're right there. Are you lost?
Not exactly.
Then why do you need me to tell you where you are?
Never mind. I'll ask someone else.
Nazareth. You're in Nazareth.
Nazareth? In Galilee?
That's the one. Is that where you're aiming for?
I think so.
You're a funny sort of fella. Not from around here, huh?
No, I'm not. I'm here on assignment.
Ooh, hotshot, huh? One of those city slickers from Jerusalem, I suppose. Here to scope out our wineries and stock up for your fancy dinner parties?
No, I'm here looking for the Messiah.
That's a good one. That's fine. You don't have to tell me what your business is.
I'm really not joking.
Excuse me.
Yes?
I'm wondering if you can point me in the direction of Nazareth.
You found it, sweetheart. Is she with you?
No. What brings you to Nazareth?
I'm looking for someone.
The Messiah?
Actually, yes. I lost track of him. Do you know where he went?
You know who he is? You've met him?
I have, back at home. He's the most wonderful man I've ever met. I got so wrapped up telling everyone about him that I didn't realize he'd left town, and I'd like to find him again. You don't know where he is?
No, I'm sorry, I don't. I'm actually looking for him myself. But since you're here, would you mind telling me about him? Anything you could share would be helpful. I'm doing some research for a little film.
Oh, a movie guy. I should have known.
Sure. I'm happy to help.
My name is Stan Silverman, by the way. My sister and I are working on a documentary together. Please, have a seat. First, would you tell me your name and where you're from?
My name is Bayla, and I'm from Samaria.
Samaritan? In Nazareth? What's the world coming to?
Tell me how you met him.
I was just going to the well at the edge of town to fetch some water. I usually go at noon to avoid the other women.
Why? That's ridiculous. That's the hottest part of the day.
The other women tend to gossip about me, and I can live without all that drama.
Well, that figures.
But there was a stranger at the well, a man. He asked for some water. I was shocked because Jewish men aren't supposed to speak to Samaritan women, especially when we're alone. You know, now that I think about it, I realize that I never gave him any water. We got so caught up talking.
Talking about what?
Oh, lots of things. We talked about water. He said he had water that would quench my thirst forever. We touched on my past and my present life. He seemed to know things.
Wasn't that a bit creepy?
Strangely, no. It was comforting that I didn't have to pretend to be someone else with him. I didn't have to hide my flaws. He already knew them. But it didn't feel like he was judging me.
How interesting.
The longer I talked to him, the more intrigued I became. We talked about the differences between our people. He said that where we worship wouldn't be a problem for much longer. I think he meant that the things that divide Jews and Samaritans wouldn't matter for long. It was then that I told him that I knew the Messiah was coming.
Do most Samaritans believe in a Messiah?
Not all of us, but I do. And when I told him I believed in the coming of the Messiah, he said, I am he.
What a bunch of baloney.
So you believed him?
I wasn't so sure, but there was something that caused me to run back to town to tell everybody about him.
So you went to talk to the people you'd been avoiding?
Yes. I haven't thought about how strange that is until now, but it didn't feel strange. I felt so blessed by meeting him that I had to tell somebody, and by the end of that day, I just knew that I had been in the presence of the Messiah.
Well, thank you for sharing that story. Bayla, before you met this man, what did you expect the Messiah to be like?
Good question. I guess I expected that he would be strong, a take charge sort of guy. I thought the Messiah would come with power and a mighty army, but I never expected that he'd take the time to stop and talk to somebody like me.
What do you mean?
She means she's a Samaritan. The Messiah would never talk to a Samaritan. They're scoundrels.
Sir, I thank you to let the lady speak for herself.
It's okay. He's not wrong. I don't have the best reputation. That's why I was so amazed that he talked to me. And he was nothing that I expected. He was kind and gentle. Don't get me wrong, he was still honest. He knew my past and didn't mince words, but he cared about me. It's been years since anyone truly cared about me.
Well, he sounds like a wonderful man. But if this man is so different than what you expected the Messiah to be, are you certain that he's really the Messiah?
I'm certain. There's no doubt in my mind that Jesus is the Messiah.
Jesus of Nazareth? You're joking. You think Jesus of Nazareth is the Messiah?
Yes, I know he is.
Do you know Jesus, sir?
It's Zev.
What's Zev?
I'm Zev. That's my name. Don't you want my name if you're going to interview me for your silly little movie?
Yes, yes, of course. So, Zev, you know Jesus?
Of course I know Jesus. I watched him grow up. He was nothing all that special, just a carpenter's son. But then he left town to call some weirdos to follow him.
Weirdos?
Fishermen mostly. What Messiah is going to fill his army with fishermen?
Well, fishermen are very strong.
Smelling.
What's that?
Never mind. When Messiah comes, he'll fill his army with the cream of the crop, the strongest, the smartest, the most loyal men. How else will he defeat the Romans?
That's a compelling argument. Bayla, what do you think?
I don't think Jesus is interested in forming an army. I think he's here to bring peace, to heal, to love. I don't think he's here to fight.
Well, there you go. Jesus is not the Messiah.
You can't say that. How do you explain his miracles?
Sounds like a lot of hooey to me.
So you deny that Jesus has done miracles?
Well, no. I know he healed some people, but that doesn't make him a Messiah. I know he's not the Messiah because he healed somebody on the Sabbath.
What's wrong with that?
For centuries, our people have followed the law. The law says that we are to rest on the Sabbath. No work, and healing is work.
So rather than healing someone who was sick, Jesus should have just sat there and done nothing?
Until after sunset, yes. Would one more day of sickness really make a difference?
Have you ever been chronically sick?
No.
Being healed one day sooner would make an enormous difference to someone who is chronically sick. I think it's a valid reason for breaking the law.
What do you know about the law? You're a Samaritan. You don't even worship in Jerusalem.
Can we get back to Jesus, please?
Yes, Jesus. He came back to Nazareth a while ago with his band of merry men and started teaching in the synagogue.
You must have been so proud seeing a local boy make something of himself.
Make what of himself? A Pied Piper? After all, that's what he is. Spouting off wisdom like some Solomon wannabe, preaching to weak-minded crowds like some hotshot rabbi. Who does he think he is? He's just like the rest of us.
But he's not like the rest of us. He's special. He's sent from God. I don't understand why you're not proud of Jesus. He's changing lives.
He's trying to change things that are just fine the way they are. God gave us laws and traditions that we're meant to keep.
But what if those traditions are empty and hollow? What if those traditions oppress people? What if God wants to do something new?
We won't stand for it. Not in Nazareth.
So I'm guessing Jesus' visit to Nazareth didn't go well?
That's an understatement. He made us all so mad that we wanted to throw him off the top of the hill.
Oh, no.
Oh, we didn't do it. He said something about a prophet not being welcomed in his own hometown and left town with his school of fishermen.
That's awful.
Maybe Jesus is a good enough Messiah for you Samaritans, but here in Israel, we're waiting for the real deal.
And you think you'll recognize the Messiah when he comes?
Absolutely. He'll come knocking on my door and ask me and my sons to join his army. He'll lead us to conquer the Romans and bring peace back to Israel. And we'll make sure there's no more Caesars on our coins or centurions in our holy city.
Don't you think the Messiah might be coming to do more than that?
What do you mean?
I just wonder if the Messiah is here to conquer greater enemies than the Romans. I wonder if he's here to bring a different kind of peace. I wonder if he wants to show us that our relationship with God is more important than coins, centurions, and ancient traditions.
You're just talking crazy now.
Maybe, but Jesus has changed me, and I think he's here to change the world.
Well, I thank both of you for your insights. You've been most helpful.
So are you convinced
Convinced about what?
that Jesus is the Messiah?
Well, I'm not sure myself, and really it's not for me to decide. My sister and I will compile all our research into a film and see what our viewers think.
What will this world come to? Seeing people think on their own.
I don't know, but I can't wait to find out. Well, I should be going if I hope to catch up with Jesus and his disciples. Good luck with your documentary, Stan.
Thanks, and thanks again for sharing your stories.
Well, since you didn't find the Messiah, you may as well support the local economy of Nazareth. There's a winery down the road.
Thanks, Zev, but I should start heading home.
Suit yourself. When you make your little movie, remember that the Messiah is an important part of the Jewish culture. You're dealing with people's hopes here. Don't make a joke of it.
I wouldn't think of it, Zev. We really want to get to the truth.
What is truth, really?
Well, that's a good question. I hope we find the answer.